Hello, welcome to the lesson 3.6 through 3.9. Looks like 39 is supposed to be a decimal in there. Practice quiz. All right, so basically it's just 12 problems of solving equations. And it has to do with square roots, squares, cubes, and cube roots. They got all the parts here. So the opposite of squaring is to take the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of each side of the equation. But I also have to remember that the answer is not just the square root of 15, which is some decimal. I also have to consider negative the square root of 15. So when you square a number, it can be positive or negative to get your answer. But square root's different. When I take the square root of a number, I just get one answer. So 81. Square root of 81 is 9. So x is 81. Just one answer for that. And it has to do with the graphs, right? So this one says, when is the parabola 15? Well, the parabola is 15 in two places. At the square root of 15 and negative square root of 15. This one says, when is the square root function equal to 9? Well, that just happens at one place, 81. Square root of 81 is 9. So that's the difference. It has to do with the shape of the graph. And just simply, you can square a negative number and get positive. But if you can't take the square root of negative 81, it doesn't work. All right, so that's the premise for the squares and square root things. So I'm going to divide by 2, x squared is 49. I think we've seen that a whole bunch of times. So it's 7, negative 7 when you take the square root. Now I'm going to square each side. So I get x minus 3 is 36. Add the 3 over, x is 39. So square root problems, I just get one answer. X squared, I get 2. However, I can't take the square root of something and get negative. That's an alarm going off inside your head. So there's no solution to this. Same thing over here. When I subtract the 9 over, I get x squared is equal to negative 4. You might think you can take the square root of each side, but this is saying when is the parabola negative 4? So there's your parabola. Negative 4 is down here, so the parabola never touches negative 4. Plus common sense says if you try and square something, how are you going to get negative out of it? If I put a 2 in there, it would be 4. If I put negative 2 in there, it would be negative 4. So this one also has no solution. All right. This one here. Okay, now I'm doing cubes, roots, so I'm going to cube it. So I cube each side. Here I just have one solution to it. Again, this has to do with the graph, so it's x minus 3 is equal to 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. Add the 3 over, x is equal to 67. And then you think, oh, I can't do this. But you can. The cube root of a negative number is negative, so I can get an answer for this one. So it'd be x plus 4 is equal to negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which would be negative 8. Subtract the 4 over, and I get x is negative 12. So negative 12 is the answer to this one. And again, this has to do with the shape of the curve. The cube root curve looks like this. So can a cube root be 4? Yeah, 4 would go back to here. Can a cube root be negative 2? Yeah, negative 2 is down here. So it would work. So you can take the cube root of a negative number. If you take the cube root of a negative number, you get negative. So that's different than squares and square roots. So I know it's a little confusing, but that's just the way it goes. Add the 4 over, square root of x plus 2 is equal to 4. When you do these problems, you always have to isolate the radical. So adding the 4 over is what you have to do. Then we square each side. And this one's okay because the square root of something is positive. That's okay. So I get x plus 2 is equal to 16. Subtract the 2 over, and I get 14. So 14 would be the answer for this one. Here I'm going to isolate the radical, so it's a cube root of x plus 2 is equal to negative 4. And again, I can take the cube root of a negative number and get negative. So there's no, this has a solution to it. So to find it, I cube each side, and I get x plus 2 is equal to negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4, which is negative 64. Subtract the 2 over, and I get x is negative 66. All right, so I'm going to end this with some cube problems. I put a couple of square problems on here, like number 1's a square problem, so is number 6 is a square problem. So we're going to do a couple of cube problems here. So basic algebra, add the 5. We get 2x, trying to isolate the cube. 54 divide by 2. X cubed is equal to 27. Now, this only has one solution because a positive times a positive times a positive has to be positive. X can't be negative because 3 negatives multiplied together would be negative, and it's not negative 27, it's 27. So I take the cube root, or just my knowledge, x would be 3. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So that's how that goes. The cube function looks like this. That's that curve. So you're saying, when is the cube function 27? Well, 27, you look down and you would see 3. So the cube root of 27 is 3, or 3 cubed is 27. So that's the idea that we talked about with that. And then again, when is the cube function negative 12? It would be negative 12 down here. And so what value goes with that? So I don't expect you to get the exact answer. So we just take the cube root of each side. X is the, cube root. X is the cube root of negative 12 would be the answer to that problem, whatever decimal it is. And I don't care what the decimal is. I just wanted you to have the cube root of negative 12. I mean, I care, but I don't care. Let's see. So I think that takes care of the quiz. And this would be my answer key. Alrighty. Peace out.